The Legendary Mechanic, Chapter 420, Surprise Deal. Black Star Mercenary Group, Credibility Rating, 875, High. Scale, 173 members. Grade D, 39. Grade C, 132. Grade B, 2. Request completed, 76. Main activity area, Colton Star Cluster. Resume: Sunni Defense Battle. Silver Rescue Operation. Rosa Planet 9512 Exploration. Jubilee Hub Leton Large Stargate Maintenance Guilds. Remarks: Eradicating space parasites. Capture of the Purple Germ Civilization's head of rebels, Penelope Wassa. 71 more missions. Expand Collapse. Creator Black Star Han Zhao. Creation date Galaxy Calendar Year 68802 October. Summary: Small to medium-sized mercenary group with a very good name, very high credibility, and strong ability. Completed hiring missions with high ratings multiple times, and most mercenaries under their command are undead. Partner with many large armies stationed at the Jubilee Hub, often responsible for matters happening around them. Operates under the Dragon Emperor aims. They are a dependable mercenary group that is active in the Colton Star Cluster, mainly accepts combat and guarding missions, very trustworthy. In 9 months, Black Star Mercenaries Group resume had become a lot richer. With players as the combat power, not only did they not suffer any manpower reduction, but their income was increased too. It was very convenient. In the 9 months, he'd only taken on hiring missions from partners. They had grown while keeping a low profile and making a fortune. His savings were now 784,000 enas. Other than buying some materials, metal, and parts to build new machinery, he had saved the rest and planned to use it to complete the class advancement mission. With so much money, buying one high-end knowledge would not be a problem, but it would be difficult to buy two. According to the standard of galactic mercenaries, Planet Dawn's mission was very easy, therefore the reward was not high. However, he had not accepted the mission for the reward alone. Han Zhao planned to gain some information about the mutation disaster on Planet Dawn, so he told the spaceships waiting outside Planet Dawn to leave first. He had hitched a ride with the spaceship to this place. It was really great to have so many partners. He didn't have to spend money on traveling at all. It was even better than Uber. The dim light from the communicator screen reflected on his face. The International League is in a few days. After the things here are done, I shall bring the team back to Jubilee Hub. 3 months ago, which is 2 weeks ago for the players, the Competition Alliance announced the system for the first international finals. The online store will be selling gathering crystals to the qualified players, which has a similar effect to dungeon crystals, and will gather them from all planets to a simulated stadium. The entire competition will be recorded and broadcast live in all channels. The system of the first season was the same as his previous life. The international competition would only be held in real environments after the players were able to carry out interstellar travel. By then, the stage would be planets and star systems. The players from the Chinese clubs had been following him for a year, and had earned a lot. Their equipment was very strong, thus their performance in the international competition would definitely be better than in his previous life. In his previous life, the performance of the Chinese clubs in the first season had been quite enraging. To avoid spoiling their reputation or taking the blame, their battle style had been very cowardly and time-consuming, or way too steady. Sometimes they were able to outlast the enemies, but sometimes after stalling and wasting a lot of time, they still lost. It was difficult and upsetting to watch. Hence, it had led to very few people watching the competition every time the Chinese teams were competing. The players preferred to watch other countries passionately fight each other and would all directly skip the fight with Chinese teams. Although China's result in the first season was acceptable, they did not make any impression or noble performance at all. Their first impression of the players around the world was that they were very good at dealing with pressure. If they don't fight tougher this time, they will have followed me for nothing. When the International League ends, the version update should come soon too. The players will disappear temporarily, and by then, the rewards from accepting quests will not be as high anymore. When the time comes, I shall not do mercenary work for some time, since moving in a team is more mobile and swift. It's more suitable to do some preparation for version 2.0, Mutation Disaster. It's going to require some planning. While doing that, I can also recruit some main character type people and increase the number of officers. As he was thinking, Han Zhao's senses felt a tiny abnormality. Han Zhao's eyes swayed, and he stood up and walked out of the tent. It was silent. He looked around and was stunned for a second. The prison car in the middle of camp was gone. Razor was nowhere to be found, and the guards were missing too. Escaped? He did not want any accidents to happen on the mission, so he equipped his mechanical suit and scanned it with its radar. Then he discovered that Razor's signal was in a small forest just outside the camp. Beside him were signals from about a dozen soldiers, and there was another individual signal hidden not far away from them. That signal strength was much higher than that of the soldiers. Hanzao checked through the database and realized that it was unexpectedly from the commander of the Knights, Rex. The other soldiers are all asleep. What are they taking a Razor to the bush at night for? Holy, can it be? Hanzao took a deep breath in. That is an old man. They have a really unique taste. Hanzao walked into the forest on tiptoes, terrified, ready to turn away and run any time he saw something dirty. He activated his night vision and looked inside the forest extremely carefully. Razor was tied up by the magic-suppressing chains, and a few knights surrounded him with steel swords in their hands. Their lips moved, and they seemed to be saying something. Hanzao increased the output of the sound collection function on his suit and heard the conversation. I'll ask you one last time, where did you get the ceremony from? I found a stone tablet under the ancient ruins. On it was the incomplete method for carrying out the ceremony. I changed the spell and using blood as the energy source. How many more times do you want me to say it? Who else knows about the spell? No one. After I memorized the spell, I destroyed the tablet. Do you think I would tell others such a dangerous spell? It's only safe in my hands. Razor's face was full of impatience as he replied to the knight. This knight rubbed his hands as he said with a tone of suppressed excitement, How about this? Let's make a deal. You tell us the method of carrying out the ceremony, and I'll let you live. Frankly, I'm quite interested in this higher world as well. Razor's eyes brightened as he had caught the last straw to save his life. Ha ha! There's always a way out. Razor pondered, and a sense of derision appeared on his face. He felt that after he told them of the method, these people would definitely kill him. He secretly raised his alert and asked, How do I know you won't just trick me out of my spell? We are the guards on duty during this time, the knight before him said. If you die, we will be easily traced back to us. Are you not afraid of me killing you after I escape? Razor said with narrowed eyes. Humph, do you dare? As soon as there is magic movement, these higher world mercenaries will come to deal with you. If I run, won't you people be traced as well? That's not a question that you need to be worried about. What if, after you let me go, you immediately alert the rest? Then you can go ahead and sell us out. With the conversation, Razor gradually started to believe that these knights really did want to make a deal with him. His tightened nerves became more relaxed. His attention was completely on talking with the knight in front of him, and he did not notice that a few knights behind him secretly released their steel swords and aimed at his vital points. Even if Razor was a grade B, if he was penetrated by steel swords when his powers were suppressed, his life would still be in danger. Hanzao was secretly observing the situation. His eyes swayed as he saw this. He had thought these knights wanted Razor's spell. The deal was almost coming to the end, yet they suddenly wanted to kill him. Seeing that the knights were about to attack, Hanzao thought about it and walked out. Hearing the footsteps, the people immediately turned around. When they saw what it was, they were all shocked. Razor's face changed immediately. You again! Their conversation had been overheard. His tender for hope would be extinct. Hanzao looked around and noticed that although these knights were surprised, they did not panic like their private deal had been found out. What's going on? Hanzao decided to speak first. You heard? A knight asked carefully. Guess. Hanzao's eyes landed on his steel sword. Kill him! The knight yelled as he turned around and stabbed his sword at Razor's chest, blood splashing all over. Hanzao's expression was changed. He had thought that these knights were going to fight him, but what was happening now? Razor's eyes widened. Before he could react, the other knights lunged at him with their swords. Hanzao's outline swayed, and these knights could only see a flash before their bodies fell back in the air. They were all sent flying by Hanzao's kick in an instant. Although I don't know what's going on, I shall stop you first. Hanzao looked at Razor. This guy was kneeling on the ground, his face was pale, and he was gasping for air. Although he was a mage, he had at least more than 100 endurance, so he would not die. The steel sword did not cut too deep. It most probably penetrated his lungs, so he would have a hard time breathing. Can anyone explain this? Hanzao glanced at the knights. They closed their mouths and did not say anything. Hanzao turned to look at the deeper side of the forest and said to the darkness, The one hiding. They're not speaking, so you will explain it to me. The sound of footsteps approaching appeared in the forest. Having hidden for a long time at the side, Rex walked out with a serious face. He knew that he could not hide anymore as soon as Hanzao appeared. Rex took a deep breath and said slowly, These knights are my supporters. I arranged for them to be on duty at the same time. Bringing Razor here was to kill him. Hanzao raised his eyebrows and said, Isn't he already captured? Why bother killing him secretly? Just kill him in broad daylight. Rex shook his head and said, The king wanted me to capture him alive, interrogate him openly, and lock him in a cell. Captain Blockstar, you're not someone from our kingdom, so I shall tell you bluntly. For criminals at the level of ascenders like Razor, the higher-ups of the kingdom will very likely give them to Ghidorah emissary in exchange for something. This way, Razor will still be alive, and his dream of going to the higher world will be true as well. When it comes to this kind of person that almost killed 1,000,000 of others for his own sake, I don't even want to give him the slightest chance of staying alive. Also, Razor knows the ceremony to absorb origin water. Maybe someone in the kingdom is interested and might force him to share the ceremony spell in exchange for not killing him. Then this horrifying spell might be leaked out, and if that happens, something like this will happen again. Therefore, even if it means disobeying orders from the king, I can't let him reach the kingdom city alive. As long as we kill him this way, we can use the excuse of Razor trying to escape to cover up his death. Captain Blackstar, I appreciate your timely assistance very much, but this is our kingdom's matter. Please do not interfere. Rex spoke in a very justified tone. Although he clearly knew that he was no match for Hanzao, he did not intend to back off. Hanzao now understood, so that's what happened. As it turns out, the deal was a trick to divert Razor's attention. Quite a smart plan. He sized Rex up, being so full of justice. Could he be another main character type of person? Or did you make him an excuse long ago and are lying? Hanzao pointed at Razor and said, since you don't want him to go back alive, how about giving him to me? It's easier for you this way. What do you want him for? Rex frowned. That's not for you to know. Anyway, I will be taking him to the galaxy. The higher world. Far away from you, and never let him come back here. Razor heard this and was immediately surprised. Going to the higher world was something that he had dreamed of every day. He was already in a hopeless situation, and now he felt like he'd found hope again. However, when he looked up, he saw Hanzao smiling at him with an unknown meaning in his eyes. The look was almost wicked, and giving out a cold aura. Razor felt a chill, and the excitement immediately disappeared. His intuition suddenly told him that this was probably not good news.